Hari Om Bhagavad Gita Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yoga chapter 17 verse 27. Bhagwan Krishna in the last verse said, Sat is used for absolute existence and also for all auspicious acts. Verse 27. Yajne tapasi dane cha stitit satiti socyate karma chaiva tadartiyam sadityeva vidhiyate. Swami Dayananda Saraswati says, Stitigi means a commitment. A pursuit or a commitment to do yajna, tabas, dana is considered to be sat. It has to be pursued with shraddha and proper attitude. Similarly, any karma that is done for pursuing yajna, dana and tapas is also called sat. Or any karma that is done for the sake of Ishvara, that is also sat. It could even be a laukika karma, that is our regular activities, carried on in conformity with dharma. Dharma is Bhagavan Krishna is dharma. If there is any doubt, then there is something wrong in the basic understanding itself. Swami Dayananda Saraswati quotes Adi Shankara here, who says, even if the karma is not sattvika or is incomplete, by chanting Om Tat Sat with Shraddha, this is very important, with Shraddha, it becomes sattvika. Chanting Om Tat Sat will make up for the omissions and commissions. Swami Chinmayananda says, at our present level, it is very difficult to attain divine perfection. Whatever level we are, maybe some are higher, some are lower, some are in the middle. But at our level, it is difficult to attain divine perfection. So, how to attain that? What is the path? It is only righteousness and virtue. In order to root out our falsehood, our pure nature has to be brought out in all our actions, thoughts, and motives. The battle against the ego and its henchman, it is not very easy. Each one, our ego is bloated so much, even though we know we are nothing. I think our presence or absence does not matter in this world. Absolutely, it does not matter. You are there. How does it matter for this world? Tomorrow I am not there. How does it matter? Nothing is going to happen. Nothing is going to change. Everything will go on its own way. But our ego, it is so bloated so much. So, how to remove that ego? One has to have unassailable faith in the virtue to keep him inspired in this tough path. Faith alone can lift him into that transcendental experience. Ego is the formidable foe. With a Swami Chinmayananda says, ego is the formidable foe with a daunting coalition of physical and mental faculties to stay in power. That is why the ego rules us. I am the big fellow. That kind of a thinking. The activities, their activities, consolidate worldly tendencies of ambition and passion, attachment and cravings. This ensures that the individual stays helplessly saddled with the burden of limited earthly existence, pain, and death. That is why we become a limited individual because of the ego. With the interplay of tamas, that is inertia, and rajas, that is craving, untamed instincts, they persistently raise their hood like the snake to undermine spiritual aspirations. Therefore, in order to offset the karma phala that accrued through passionate actions, whatever actions we have done, so the result will be there. That is the karma phala. Right action with the right attitude and faith has to be undertaken. That is the formula given by Bhagwan Krishna. Again, I repeat, right action with the right attitude and faith. That is important. In other words, when selfless activities are carried out with self control, the ego gets weakened. Desires and attachments will slowly move away if we carry on the work. Mind becomes pure and serene, pure and calm. Such a mind is ready for higher goals. The term Sat is used to indicate a man's faith and devotion in sacrifice, austerity, and charity. Tabas, dana, and the other one, yajna. Tabas, dana, and yajna. So, Sat is used to indicate all the three. Sat registers one's faith in the principles underlying yajna, dana, and tapas. Now, the word Sat is used to indicate Brahman, the supreme reality. A spiritual seeker is required to translate knowledge, his knowledge, into experience. We all have knowledge. Everybody can become a great speaker in Bhagavad Gita. Knowledge is different. It can be acquired by reading books. Experience, nil. For this, to bring the experience, the seeker has to bring the sattvic quality in every action he performs. He has to spiritualize all actions at all times and in all places by his selfless activities in tune with Dharma. Important, very, very important. To gain that experience, the knowledge, from knowledge to experience, the seeker has to bring in all his actions, at all times, and in all places, his selfless activities that is in tune with Dharma. This is the spirit of right action. This alone can help us transcend our ego. Such a kind of people are saintly persons. They are called Satpurushas, and all their actions are called Satkarmas. Even when the sacrifice, austerity, and charity are not sattvic type, they can be made sattvic by making inner adjustment. We have to make the inner adjustment. By chanting Om Tat Sat, where Om represents the supreme, Tat represents the universal, and Sat represents the real. The infinite Brahman is invoked. If the chanting is undertaken with faith and sincerity, the mind of the seeker expands and gives up all its selfishness and arrogance. Ego and egocentric desires, they are the ones which create the attachments. Bhagavan already said, Kama Yesha, Krodha Yesha. So both of them create these desires, which create the attachments. They in turn destroy the inner joy of the individual by not permitting his heart to expand. Whenever there is ego, it is always myself, my family, nothing else. You won't give anything to the others. So to burst that bubble, you have to make the inner adjustment. To cut off these shackles, one has to do right karmas. That is sat karmas, to liquidate the bad actions. That is the karma phalas of the wrong actions of the past. This unwinding of vasanas, the very creators of our psychological imperfections, that can be affected only in the field of activity. That is, by doing karma only you can do all these things. Without doing karma, that is, from the beginning, Bhagwan says karma, karma yoga, karma yoga, karma yoga. How to unwind your bad vasanas, the results of the bad vasanas, only by doing karma, only by doing activity. Otherwise, you cannot. From the beginning, that is what Bhagwan Krishna is insisting. That is what I think. Swami Chinmayananda says that can be affected. The very creators of psychological imperfections, they can be affected only in the field of activity. This is accomplished by an intelligent, right adjustment of our mental attitude all along when we are at work. The required changes can be brought about by remembering the infinite reality and by chanting Om Tat Sat. So, whatever act you are doing, always attach yourself with complete faith with Bhagavan Krishna by chanting Om Tat Sat. Om Tat Sat. Om Tat Sat. Always. You attach yourself with the Brahman, top, supreme reality. You can never go wrong. The fundamental principle is that actions can leave behind only such reactions that are ordered by the type of motives and attitudes with which it is done. Mens ria, even today it prevails in criminal courts. Mens ria, they will say mens ria. What is the motive behind this? What is the intention? Why he did this? If the intention is not wrong, then how can the act can be wrong? So the same thing is said. Actually, whatever has been said is still followed. That is what I am trying to say. The same thing is said in the sense. I am not saying to Bhagavan Krishna, it cannot happen. Bhagavan Krishna says the type of motives and attitudes is important when the work, when the activities are done. So thus any act becomes worship when it is imbued with right attitude or faith. To feel the presence of the all-pervading Supreme Brahman in every breath and step. Very, very important. Every step, every breath, Swami Chinmayananda says, it is to become a mere instrument in the hands of Brahman, in the hands of Bhagavan Krishna. You can call it by any name. It is an awakening, a spiritual orientation. Even the secular becomes sacred when the heart is soaked in devotion and the head is yoked to the Supreme. Wonderful sentence of Swami Chinmayananda. Again I am repeating. When the activities are carried out by attaching your actions with the Brahman, your motives, your intentions, your attitude with the Brahman, then what happens is even the secular activities become sacred when the heart is soaked in devotion and the head is yoked to the Supreme. What I understand, I want to just put it in a nutshell. Yajna is what we do in a group for the society. Like you can invoke the blessings of rain god. Whenever there is no rain, then a group of people, we chant mantras, do yagas, yajnas, etc. That is yajna. Or you dig a pond. Tapas is what we do with ourselves. What you do to yourself. You keep Mauna Vrata. It's a kind of tapas. You observe Ekadashi, kind of tapas. Do it for yourself. Dana is what somebody can individually do it for others. You give whatever wealth you are having. It could be your money, it could be cattle, it could be clothes, it could be anything else. Or knowledge. Whatever you have, you are giving. That is dana, charity, helping the poor. In this world, only these three types of activities can be carried out. You can work in a group, you can work upon yourself individually, or you can give whatever you have. I think these are the only three activities that can be carried out in this world. In all these three activities, if we attach ourselves with the Brahman or Bhagwan Krishna, always thinking about him, always attaching the work with him, undoubtedly all the activities will have the blessings of Bhagwan Krishna, Brahma, and all of them will become Satkarma. The I do or we do mentality will get totally eradicated, and what will prevail is his will, Bhagwan Krishna's will, Brahman's will, that I am carrying out in this world. That will come out. Ego will automatically get eradicated. Mind naturally becomes calm and quiet. Then there can be no doubt that the person is a Satpurusha and the actions done by him are Satkarmas. That is what I think. That is what I understand. Verse 27 again. Yajne tapasi dane cha stitit satiti socyate karma chaiva tadartiyam sadityeva vidhiyate. Next verse we will see tomorrow. Hari Om. Sarvam Krishnarpanamastu. Narayana 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 Narayana